Are we ready for this? Hi there, Patrick here in Singapore, and our group consists of myself, Katie, Heather, Melinda, Kelly, and Curtis. We're going to be looking at Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 of Fullen. A few things we may discuss: boredom, distraction, and text capacity for change. I'll see you at the end for a wrap up.
The dark side of technology really examines the issues with technology that are becoming systemically entrenched within the society. So we're seeing things like people in poorer areas being targeted with ads for trade schools rather than colleges or what we would call in Canada universities. We're seeing things such as people becoming engaged in what I would like dub a distraction culture, where we have limitless information, yet we are really focused on entertainment and keeping ourselves distracted from what's going on. So it uses political unrest and political issues in the world as an example. Although we have the information at our fingertips, we would still rather play Words with Friends as the example that it gives. And then finally, another major point that's being made is that as part of the distraction culture, people are becoming less, or I should say that people are having shorter attention spans. And then that is something that scientifically is being proven. We have less of an ability to focus for a long period of time because of technology. So there's correlations there that are not entirely explained in this paper, but they do exist. And then this would leave me wondering, when I'm looking at the questions that we've come up with for this assignment, really how well prepared are students who are having trouble focusing with limited attention spans? How well prepared are they to pursue inquiry-based learning? And how well equipped are teachers in the day and age today to help support and facilitate that learning? And I especially think about technological literacy when considering this as well. Is every teacher going to be technologically literate enough to ensure that they're facilitating learning and not allowing students to use time on the internet to engage in distraction?
When Fullen discusses how technology and humans shape each other, he begins by pointing out the potential harm technology has in terms of how it shapes humans by describing such things as eye disorders and the constant media diet of the iGeneration. But Fullen reminds us, don't focus on technology, focus on its use. As humans, we need to focus on what we want technology to do, because, as Fullen states, technology in its evolution is not simply neutral. It can be shaped by what we want out of it. Humans, especially educators, must question, how can we work with technology? Fullen warns of the addictive power technology has and suggests teachers lean into this in order to engage our students to counter school boredom. For example, technology can be integrated to grant our students access to the world for engaging learning opportunities and worldwide collaborative problem solving. But is this enough for students to drive their own learning to work with technology in meaningful ways? Perhaps we need to coach our students to remain critical and aware of how technology shapes humans by asking them, who's in charge, humans or machines?
In Chapter 3, Change and the Student, Fullen discusses the skinny, essentially how to break down a problem and a solution to its core, and then come up with ambitious goals to work towards. When it comes to positive change for students, figuring out how to engage them is the key to intrinsic motivation and, in turn, learning. By focusing on a student's thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, higher student achievement is possible. An example is the Ministry of Ontario, who created a student success strategy that increased graduation rates by 16%. The plan meets students where they're at, including at-risk students who are disengaged with the educational system. As Fullen states, we need to shift our approach to focus on the subjective experiences of students and engage them in new, meaningful, and exciting ways. The key is to make students partners in their own education and find the spark that will make them want to learn. Innovative ways of approaching education need to be created to keep the educational system relevant and engaging to today's student. Small interventions can have a huge impact as long as they're based in collaboration. Students can have the capacity to drive their learning as long as they're given the tools to do so.
Fullen discusses pedagogy and change. As an educational leader, I look for ways to use technology in a way that balances creativity and innovation with purposeful, outcome-targeted learning. Fullen suggests that if people are involved in meaningful work, and if they feel capable, and if they are helped to make even small progress, they become more motivated and ready for the next challenges. In addition, he posits that technology combinations tap into, stimulate, and even create purpose and passion in what students want to learn. For both students and educators, in the pursuit of deeper learning, it is fueled by their passions and purposes.
You may be wondering why students seem to love school less and less as they get older. There has to be a reason for this, right? Well, in a world where knowledge can be found, searched really, at the drop of a hat, students in the 21st century find little meaning in answering rote, fact-based, or memory-based questions. The new pedagogy of the 21st century needs to focus on the student experience so that students can grow and discover new knowledge on their own by questioning, critiquing, and problem solving. Students possess the capacity to drive their own learning through purpose and planning, but they are only able to do so if they are given opportunities to explore and question the world around them. Rather than just asking students curriculum-based questions, educators need to learn how to step back and facilitate discussions that focus on questions the students are creating. Who is asking most of the questions in your classroom? Hello, Patrick here again. So, a couple things I'd like to pull out before I share our questions. Technology has a bit of a dark side, so they say. But does it? We know technology is not neutral because humans wrote the code. So is technology evil, or is it the human creators? Secondly, we talk a lot about distraction, boredom. Now, is technology really a distraction, or is it just better than what we're doing in the classroom? Things to think about, I think, anyway. Our first question. Is it a compromise to Fullen's idea of a new pedagogy for educators and educational leaders to use technology in a way that balances creativity and innovation with purposeful, outcome-targeted learning? Our second question. Fullen calls for deep engagement to counter boredom in both teachers and students. Do students have the capacity to drive their own learning through purpose and passion? Do teachers have the capacity to mentor the process? Can't wait to hear your thoughts.